Hello, YouTube and Twitch. I am Eli the Fatigued. We're doing some world building on my Dungeons and Dragons world today, and I am trying to Velixion doing world or NPC ideas allowed. NPC ideas are always allowed. This is overall encompassing the entire world kind of thing, if that makes sense. Um, but anyway, let's see. What's the difference between these two files? There doesn't seem to be any difference. You gotta love it when you're trying to go through old stuff. Barony of Kin Allen, yes. And there you go. That's a good idea, actually. Speaking of, I actually have a town. It should be in Barony of Lond, which should pop up in a second. Oh gosh, that's way zoomed in. What the heck? What the heck happened there? There we go. Barony of Lond. Where's Midwell? I'm blind. Yeah, Midwell, the top right. Um, that's the Barony of Kinallen. But yeah, the Barony of Lond has a town called Midwell, which is supposed to be, you know, a middle of a ley line. So I don't know. Maybe that'll work a little bit. I'd have to restructure things slightly. Let's see, can I pause this? Ah, there we go. Hotkeys to control slideshow. Perfect. Um, at the moment, I'm not planning on any specific player levels because I haven't played. I haven't played a game in a while as a DM. Let's see, what are the hotkeys? I have to set those up. Ah, here it is. Next slide, previous slide. There we go. There we go. The Barony of Lond. I really like that. I like that a lot. Anyway, Barony of Lond has. You can't actually see my mouse. Hmm. Anyway, up toward the top right, there's the town of Midwell that basically has a well. Yes, great, isn't it? Um, sorry, a well in the middle of town, and I have kind of, sort of, I don't know. I've done a lot of things with that town because it was the players' base for a little while. Not really base, but they were based in it for a little while for story. The town of Midwell with the well. Yeah, I know I keep saying that, but anyway, the well is the center of the ley line of the ley lines in the area. Um, and it has, the power of water because I also have the characters Aqua, Ignis, Aqua Ignis Terra and Aura? No, Aura. I think it's Aura. It's been forever. But anyway, yeah, so I have the four elemental hero kind of Aqua Ignis, Aura, and Terra. Yeah, the four heroes of the elements. Aura and Terra, I believe, are in the. Let me hide this. The Ynnith Empire up there at the top. There we go. You can see that a little better. Yeah, they're in the Ynnith Empire. I haven't done much building of the Ynnith Empire. It is like completely empty. Unlike, Degala. Back to that. The Degalan kingdom has, baronies and counties kind of plotted out. Um, with two actual baronies, kind of set up. With the Lawn barony being completely set up because that's the barony the players were playing in. And I have the Allen barony I got it started, but that was before, the whole what's it called? Pandemic happened, and then we weren't able to play very much, and then, job job schedules and stuff kind of, yeah, D&D stuff. They kind of made it so it was hard to actually play. Um, Sorry, I'm trying to get my thoughts in order for one because it's been forever since I've actually planned out a D&D my D&D stuff because for one, it's since I played. Then I had work, and then anyway, I keep just saying over and over, yeah. Anyway, let's see. Since I'm talking to YouTube as well, let's see. I don't know. I'm trying to think of ideas to build the towns up and stuff. I definitely want to work on the Kinallen Barony, I think. If only because when I do start my players off again, they'll definitely be in the Lawn Barony because that's the area I actually, or maybe I'll start them in Kinallen. It really depends on a lot of different things that I have set up and etc. 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 I'm not the greatest DM. I've only been DMing for like 2.5 years. I've been playing D&D for probably twice as long, maybe 4 or 5 years at this point. Let's see. And I've never streamed the world building, so it's like I'm trying to get my like thoughts in order, trying to figure out what I want to do on stream slash in the recording. Yeah, I did no prep for the prep, if that makes sense. I did not prep I did not make any preparations for the D&D preparations. Oh, you gotta love it. Alright. Might as well make some progress while I'm here. Oh yeah, then the black lines. Alright. The black lines are the duchies, the red lines are the baronies, and the green lines are the counties. Excuse me. And like I've said, I'm not the greatest GM, and there's definitely a lot of stuff I have to work on for sure. Ooh, here we go. Got about Plains Bay. I do have lawn cities. Let's see. Let's do Windows. That would work a lot better, I think. Nope, nope, that's the wrong one. Wrong one. Photos. So this is the city of Lond in the Lond Barony. Um, this is Midwell Generation 1 in the original timeline. This is Midwell Generation 2 in the future timeline. So to explain that a little bit, the original timeline is my first time running this campaign. And then I was like, when I started it again, I was like, oh, well, let's have the players, what was it? Let's have the players start later on in the campaign and just because the previous party, we stopped playing, I quote unquote said they failed. And they failed in their quest. So I had a future timeline I kind of sort of set up. Uh, sorry, it's trying to get it all in order still. It's crazy. I had a future timeline I set up that was like 100 and some odd years later. And this, they actually have walls now, for one. And, definitely the city has changed. It's hard with, map generation thingies to get it exactly the same again. So I was just like, okay, well, this is Midwell in I think it was 885, and then I don't even remember at this point. It's there's a lot of stuff that I made up on the spot. To be fair, when we were playing, as you do as a DM, and then oh right, I think originally it was supposed to be like 31 years, but then I stretched it out to 100 some odd years. So it was like 854, 885 to oh right, because then I put on the yeah the markers for yeah. Miranel is small town. Second, Miranel's a small town up towards the right of Midwell, or to the northeast of Midwell. You can't see my mouse because this is it's a photo on stream. Yeah, to the northeast, sorry, of Midwell. To the northeast of Direwood Hold, there's that really small town of Miranel. And so that's this town, and it was basically an abandoned ghost town. It's the first town the 885 group of players discovered, is they woke up in a basement. They didn't know what happened, and then they went and found this town, and it was a ghost town basically. And on the town board, the what are they called? I don't even remember what they're called now. Announcement boards or whatever. The town, yeah, the town announcement board, whatever. You know what they're called. You know what I'm talking about. They found, written in blood across all the notes and sheets and stuff. I think it was written in blood. I think it was written in blood. They can hear you. And the reaction I got to that was amazing. Like it was so good. It made me so happy. They were freaking out just a tiny bit, and they're like, "Who can hear us? Why is it written in blood? Where is everyone?" Uh, I don't know why I'm telling the story of it now, but I kind of want to continue telling the story just to give it a little background on the world, I guess, and why stuff is set up the way it is. I don't know. Plus, I like telling the story of this campaign because this was a fun campaign we had going. So anyway, they found here and found that, and they was it detect life or something like that? I don't remember. it's been a while. But after a little while, search around the town, they weren't rolling too well from what I remember. I eventually was going to give them something, but because they weren't rolling too well, I decided that they made a little bit of noise. And then I think was he a halfling? No, he's a gnome. He was a gnome wizard, or is that his current character? No, his current character's a gnome wizard. He used to be a warlock of, I don't even remember the race, but his warlock character decided to go into the little smithy and just crash every metal item to the ground because they're like, oh, they can hear us, huh? So he knocked everything to the ground, and holy frick. Oh, it was a loud noise. So anyway, what happened next is they took, or not they took, Brain? Sorry, Brain is having a die. What happened next is the creatures from, not In Silence. Well, it's basically the creature from In Silence because that creature is basically based off of a Quiet Place. A Quiet Place. I think it's a Quiet Place because I had just watched a Quiet Place like the 2 or 3 days before this session, and I was like, those creatures are really cool. I want to implement them somehow. So I did. So anyway, the creatures from a Quiet Place, not In Silence. It's basically the same thing. But A Quiet Place, there was several of them. I statted them myself a little bit based on some Google searches I did, and then also just kind of gauging it to the current player's level. And they were more of like a scouting, quote unquote, scouting group. I don't know why I keep air quoting. You can't see me. Um. Anyway, so they found those, and then they started to try to hide from them, seeing them. Um. But then someone rolled poorly on their stealth check. It was like a 2 or something. And the creatures have really good hearing. You know, they get, I think I gave them advantage and then also a bonus to perception checks with hearing. I think it was like a +3 or something. Uh, I don't know. Anyway, so anyway, so I think it was actually that warlock. Funnily enough, and I think he was a hexblade warlock. Back to the blade or whatever. There's so much stuff in D&D, but you know what I'm talking about. He was a weapon warlock, and yeah, there was a combat, and so that's how they figured out those creatures. They didn't really get much information other than that. Then they finally rolled really well in the right building. After I think I gave them a hint or something. I don't remember. Yeah. Anyway, so they found the basement room that was hidden. The cellar. That's what it was. The cellar that was hidden beneath a rug. The cliches. Um, Unfortunately, they did not make it in time to save the NPC that was down there. I originally had planned it out that if they find this NPC within a certain amount of time, he'll actually still be alive and they could potentially heal him and get information from him. And he is actually a paladin. I don't remember which order he was in this world because I don't remember much about anything. But he was a paladin that someone from Midwell knew. He was from the same order, and that paladin had been sent to this town to figure out what was going on. Like, why hadn't they heard from Mirnell in a while? Because it was a fairly new town, past like 50 years, something like that. I don't know. That's why the original party didn't come across it. Um, because Midwell was that group of players. Oh, that's right. Midwell was a different group of players, but same idea. Anyway, Um, yeah, because I had two players start in Midwell, or two groups start in Midwell, and one group started on a pirate ship. Oh, that's right. This is a steampunk world. Let's see. It's a steampunk piratey world. It's supposed to be like high seas kind of thing. And I started it originally as a high seas campaign, but that didn't go too super well, which was sad because the players were we eventually stopped playing for one. Um, but yeah, it's a high seas steampunky world. Um, all right, I guess this is less of a world building and more of a history slash lore slash backstory of my world and campaigns, which isn't a bad thing, in my opinion, anyway. Um, where was I? Right, the paladin. So they found some notes about a group of people who were to bring about a quote unquote age of chaos. I keep doing air quotes, physical air quotes, and it's irritating me because I know you can't see me. Um, yeah, let's have some music going while we're talking. Okay, why is this taking forever to load? What the crap? Windows. Windows, why are you being dumb? Legitimately, I don't know why Windows is being dumb. There we go. And welcome music of Andrew Sitkov. Really awesome music. I really enjoy it. Let's see. Music. There you go. Music and then the name of it. Not have it be too loud. But anyway, there we go. There's that. I meant to be keep going. So, oh dang it, screwed up. Oh, there we go. That's what was messed up on it. Yeah, I really like Andrew Sitkov's music. Um, oh, Tulian, thank you for the follow. Sorry, I did not have hang on, not have my where is it? Alert box set up. This is a new. There we go. a new scene and everything, so I haven't set it up yet. Let me play that for you. Here we go. Oops. Very small. There you go. Okay. Sorry about that. Anyway, how you doing today, Tulin? I was just kind of going through the backstory of my world a little bit before I do any real world building. Just because I figured people would enjoy a bit of a bit of history about my world. But anyway, so where was I at? Yeah, no problem. Thanks for the follow, man. Let's see, where was I at? So anyway, they found the paladin, and they found a note on his body talking about, um, you know, these people who are trying to bring about a quote-unquote age of chaos, and how he was supposed to stop them, and it kind of trails off a little bit, and there's blood splattered on the page as he's lying next to it, dead. A quick search of the room. Am I incorporating world history into the map? I mean, kind of, sorta. Into my map? Into this map, specifically? I mean, if you're talking about real world history, yes. I actually had a character from my original group of players that I started in this world who is a Marine, or is a retired Marine, and I created a whole... I should hydrate. I created a whole character based on a Marine that was like brought into this world through a dimensional rift on accident. I even looked up, like, this is how deep I go into stuff for my players. I even looked up a freaking name of a freaking battle that his Marine was in to help him, because he already knew Marine history, so I wanted to surprise him with a cool backstory and how he was there. Let's see. It was like the Belial Woods, I think. Yeah, it was the Belial Woods. So his character was a Marine from the Belial Woods battle in France. And World War. Is it under World Lore? Yeah, the Battle of Belial Wood on Wikipedia. And so his character was teleported from Earth into my world, which is Chryox. He had all his equipment as a Marine. He had an M1 Grand, some frag grenades, and I statted those out. And oh, it was so good. His character was so good. And yeah, he really enjoyed the character. Everyone enjoyed the character. I put a lot of work into helping him build it because it was his first ever character in D&D. So I wanted it to be awesome. I wanted him to kind of, what's the word? Relate to his character a little bit so he would enjoy the game more. And so what happened at Belial Woods, or the Battle of Belial Wood, is his character had to run across a field to get to another position. I don't even remember the specifics of the character too much. But yeah, he was with a large group. I think it was with a platoon, and they had to run across a field to get to another position. So they started sneaking across the field, trying to get to the marked position on their map or whatever, and suddenly a machine gun nest opens up, and they all just book it. They start running, and he feels several hot, like, sharp stabbing pains in his body as he gets, you know, a machine gun shredding into him. But then he sees a white light, and all of a sudden he's falling from the sky, and the other players are on a boat, and they're on a pirate ship, and they just see this meteor falling from the sky. Sorry, I haven't hydrated yet. So they see this meteor falling from the sky, going right at their ship, and they look up at it and they're all freaking out. But then the meteor slows down, and on the deck of the ship lands a person. And one of the players was a cleric of a forgotten deity that he made up, because part of the campaign was I allowed players to make up their own backstories if they wanted to, adding whatever they wanted to help with world building. That's the way I do it. If they want to add something to the world, if it's not too crazy, I'll allow it. And so one of the players, the cleric, that created his character after a forgotten deity, because his character was actually from 100 years from the past. So let's see, the current year of Marinel is 885. Chronologically, that group of players was in like 784, and then that cleric was from like 680, the year of chronological order in the world. But he got teleported into the future for whatever reason. I don't remember. I think part of it was magic was rare in the world in 780. So he was like, okay, can have a character that has good, like, high magic. And so I was like, yeah, sure. So in 680, magic was very popular and like everywhere throughout the world. In 784, magic had been like outlawed / banned or something. Haven't figured out the exact reason yet, but I will eventually. And then 885, magic is back on the upswing again. So in the span of 200 years, magic goes from being outlawed and banned across most places to being popular again. I don't know. World building is insane. It's crazy. I love world building. I love D&D. I love being a DM. I love providing a fun experience to my players. I think that's part of the reason I got into Twitch streaming, is that I enjoy providing fun experiences for people. And if my stories are fun and interesting, then I hope people enjoy them, because I enjoy talking about them. I enjoy sharing them. So yeah, that was the 780 group. Then there's two groups of 885 players. Yeah, so there was the 784 group of players, and then the two groups of 885 players. The first group of 885 players did not run into Marinel. They only were in Midwell, and they were more murder hobo-y, and that group lasted one session. Yeah, that was... But then the second group that started in 885 in Midwell, we played for like 7-8 months before the pandemic hit. And so I was in the middle of kind of explaining their story a bit. Right, so they're in that cellar, they found that paladin, and... Right, they did a spot check, not spot check, that's earlier versions of D&D. They did a perception check, and then an investigation check or something, and they found a secret tunnel in the wall that, they traveled for a couple of days, and I can pull up the right thing. Second. This one. So in this, yeah, it's very nice. Thank you. In this map, there's that Direwolf hold place between Midwell and Marinel. The tunnel led from Miranel and twisted and turned a lot and brought them beneath the Direwood Hold. It's this abandoned, broken down, castle in the middle of a forest. So they follow that for a while, and sorry, I'm trying to think. Right, I think they found a room with magical items. But before that, they ran into a ghoul skulker. Um, Ghoul skulker. Let me find enemies. Kingdom, the ghoul skulker. I think this was based on. Oh, whoops. Let me. Sorry. No, no, no. Wrong window. There we go. Ah. Whoops. Is that screwing up that one? Oh, whoops. No, it's not. Okay. That's fine. Anyway. So this ghoul skulker is based off of another creature with the same name, but I kind of changed it up a little bit. I don't remember what I changed, if anything. I don't remember if I changed it at all, but anyway, so they faced a ghoul skulker, and they were like level 3 at the time or something like that. And there was only one. And so they did pretty well. Honestly, they did really well. And so yeah, they traveled through. Let me move that barony back. Here we go. So they traveled through the tunnel, fought that ghoul skulker. It was invisible. I think that's the addition I made. I allowed it to be invisible due to reasons. Yeah, I allowed it to be invisible for reasons, and then I made that, kind of across the board all ghoul skulkers because they were controlled by the chaos. The chaos is another thing. I'll go off on that tangent in a little while once we face the spiders. So they get into this room and they search around. They find some more papers written in Draconic, I think, talking more about this quote-unquote chaos summoning and such and such and stuff. And they find, was it 5 magical items? They find studded leather armor. They could tell it was magical. I can't remember what I did with it initially. I think it was just like a +1. But unbeknownst to them, it was an artifact called Aqua's armor. And to those watching the VOD, if you've gotten to this point, you'll remember that Aqua is one of the 4 elemental heroes that I added to this world. Aqua's dead. The players later find that out. Aqua is dead. It's really sad. And that's her armor that they found. So you can guess who killed Aqua. The Chaos people. Soldiers, creatures, whatever. I'm not the greatest at keeping things in order. I'm not the greatest DM ever. I try to be a good DM. I'm not great. But anyway, they found the Aqua armor. They found a Quiver of the North, which I believe added, was it 1d6 frost damage to any arrow stored inside it? That, and then Kara's spear, which later on, the warlock got a hold of, and then later on the warlock left the party for various reasons, partially because the player didn't want to play a warlock anymore, which was fine. But then he took Terra's spear with him, and then got corrupted by the chaos, and that's another long story tangent for later. Um, let me change the name of this stream real quick. There we go. A DM's world's history. DM's world's history, world building. Toss me ideas and just chatting. There we go. You like the perspective of this map? Thank you. I actually worked a fair bit on this map. It's not, you know, the best high quality map ever, but I'm trying. As a DM, I try. I try to have something that's good without it being an obnoxious amount of effort, you know? So, thank you, Tulian. Or Tulin? Tulin? But, anyway. So, yeah, they found Aqua's armor, Terra's spear, the Quiver of the North was given to their ranger, the Staff of the Wilds, which was imbued with all the nature essence of the area they're in, because I kind of ripped it off of D&D of Doctor Who a little bit, the episode where the spirits of the forest leave the trees because it's about to be melted. What happened here is the chaos is infesting the world. Oh, that's right. The area that they're in is, I totally forgot to mention this, it's completely like pale. Like all the colors are paled, like really seriously bad. And if you detect magic in this area, all you see is this new kind of energy that nobody really recognizes as a type of magic. Chulin. Okay, cool. Thank you. Appreciate that. It was not 3D. It was made. Let me look up where I made it. D&D. It was made. It's on one of these. Not Incarnate. I think it was this one. It's Asgar's. I think it was Asgar's. Yeah, it's Asgar's Fantasy Map Generator. I'll link it. Spirits of the Trees, which she's in the Doctor. Tulin. It was Matt Smith. It was the Christmas episode. The Widow and the Caretaker, and the Wardrobe, or something like that. So anyway, yeah, the map is not 3D, but it was made on Asgar's Fantasy Map Generator. I really enjoy this map generator. Like it was really good. And then I added all the, you know, black and red and green lines and the names and all that in like MS Paint. uh. Anyway, so yeah, the spirits of the forest were imbued in the staff, and it was given to the druid. The players, you know, unanimously decided, oh, this staff that has the spirits of the forest in it should be given to the druid. I made a magical item for each of them and gave it to them after, I think it was in the second session. Because I'm a nice DM. And that staff helped them so much. It helped them more than I realized it ever would. I just wanted to make sure she had a really cool magical item. Yeah, it was that episode of Doctor Who. It was he was, I think it was just after Amy and Rory left. I'd have to look it up. Um, I think I want to say it was the Christmas episode of season 6, Tulip. Let me look it up. But yeah, it was the episode where they traveled through the Christmas present box to this forest, this Christmas forest that grew the nutcracker thing or whatever. Yeah, I want to say it was season 6. Christmas Special 2011, Season 6, Episode 14, The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. There it is. And it's the episode evacuated to a house in Dorset from war-torn London. Madge, Arwell, and her 2 children, Lily and Cyril, are greeted by a madcap caretaker whose mysterious Christmas gift leads them into a magical, wintry world. Yeah, it was that episode. Yeah, the forest was sentient. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I kind of took that idea of, oh, well, this forest is being corrupted, or as I like to call it, K-erupted, and I may have stole that word from a video game I played when I was a child. Chaos corrupted. It's corrupted by the chaos. Yes. Anyway. So, yeah. The spirits inhabited a branch, and it turned into this magical staff, which was collected by the agents of chaos and then stored there. There's that, and that. Those 4 items. I think there was a 5th item. I think it was an amulet of reflection or something. Entropy corruption. I like that, yeah. Basically. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think it was an amulet of reflection. I think it reflected back like a percentage of the damage. I don't remember exactly how much, but that was for their cleric, who I was planning on creating as a tank. I will say, because of a certain YouTuber that I watched his D&D campaign videos, I was very inspired in my own campaign by his character, or by his cleric player by the name of Black, if anyone knows who I'm talking about. So yeah. Tulin, yes and no. I want to play D&D again. I just have to find people who have time in my friend group. That's part of the issue that it's been for a while, is that people just don't have time because of work or school or whatever else, or I haven't had time. Like when I was working my desk job, I was working 9 hours a day, and that was nuts. Well, I was working 8 hours with a 1-hour unpaid lunch. So I was gone from home 9 hours a day. Now I'm working part-time, so I have more time to actually plan stuff out for D&D and play. Eventually what I'd like to do is have three streams per week become D&D focused. I want D&D prep, like one of these kind of streams of planning for a session, then the session, which is the second stream, and then a third stream, which is my arena world, where we get ideas from the chat on from the Twitch chat on what the player should face in the arena. Because I'm really really good on my feet, quick on my feet to stat creatures and to set stuff up for a battle and stuff. And I think that would work really well for my arena world. I just have to get some players who are fine with fighting what the chat suggests. So like that's my idea, my thoughts on what I eventually want to do for D&D on my channel. But right now I'm kind of just giving a history of my world a little bit more, and yeah, like where all these cities came from and why they're there, and then I'm gonna go from there and I don't know, try to build something. I've mentioned this several times in the stream. I'm not the greatest DM. I'm nowhere near Matt Mercer, but I think I'm a good DM, and I do try. And I'll be honest, I make a lot of stuff up on the spot, so it's sometimes hard for me to world build and plan and prep, especially when I know that the players are not gonna follow what I plan and prep because they never do. But I do like to have like a general idea of the story of the evil people they're gonna face. Like one of the big bad evil guys